Let me just check in with Parker. Are we up on live stream? Welcome everybody on live stream as well. My name is Rhonda Pignato. I'm going to be the service leader today. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Yay. Has anyone here been in the service or been affected by anyone who has been in the service or passed in the service? Anyone? Military service? Yeah. Yeah. What other service would I be talking about? This service. Oh, this service. Well, anyway, we would like to say that our deepest gratitude is with anyone who has served, and especially those who have served and have transitioned because of their calling into something that was in their hearts and doing it for a greater good for that all of us get to benefit from. So thank you so much. We really appreciate it, and we appreciate to the friends and the family who are also suffering losses. We celebrate you, we celebrate those in the service, and we celebrate those in the service who have passed. So thank you so much. As I said, my name is Rhonda Pignato. I'm going to be the service leader here. Reverend Kitty Benson is our minister here at Unity in Naperville. We can applaud to that. And Highest Good is our wonderful music team over here. And we are here every Sunday at 10:45. So if you're here for the first time, online, in person, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. And we like to start our services with good energy, and one of the best ways to get that energy up is through our wonderful music team, who are so creative, and we're so appreciative for them as well. So stand as you're able, and they will start us out with the first song.
Sing this together.
Out of the dark I come. Into the light, into the blazing sun. Eyes open wide, awakening to love's plan. I was born to be the child of I am. Arise, shine, for the light is come. Arise, shine, for the light is come, and the glory into the light, into the blazing sun. Eyes open wide, awakening to love's plan. I was born to be the child of I am. Arise, shine, for the light has come. Arise, shine, for the light
sorry. I'm in a woohoo mood, aren't I? I'm gonna let it out, and you feel free to let it out if you're in a woohoo mood. It's about allowing. We don't block the flow. We allow the flow of this stream of good. Yes? Yes.
Stream of good flows through me. Stream of good, how the sweet waters roll. Stream of good flows through me. Stream of good, how the sweet waters roll. It is rushing, it is pouring, it is flowing. It is God, it is good, I am flowing. Moving with the water, my source, my supply. My stream of good flows through me. Stream of good, how the sweet waters roll. Stream of good flows through me. Stream of good, how the sweet waters roll. It is rushing, it is pouring, it is flowing. It is God, it is good, I am flowing. Moving with the water, my source, my supply. My stream of good. It is rushing, it is pouring, it is flowing. It is God, it is good, I am flowing. Moving with the water, my source, my supply. My stream of good. Moving with the water, my source, my supply. My stream of good. Moving with the water, my source, my supply. My stream of good. Yeah.
Well, you got some rabble rousers out there. I can hear you. Beautiful, beautiful. You know, I should have caught up with you early today and just changed that word from good to love, because that's true too. The stream of love flows through us as well. All the same thing. Good, love, God, yes. Let's take a moment to connect with that presence of good within. If you just close your eyes for a moment and find your heart space. Imagine this beautiful stream of good that is love pouring out from your heart and out into the world, that which harmonizes all things for good. Grateful to know, sweet Spirit, there is nothing that we need to create but to simply allow. And we do allow God's good to flow. So it is, and now we let it be. Amen. Will you help me speak our invocation? The words are up here on the screen. Together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. Thank you. You may be seated.
as God created me. I am alive in this world. I am as God created me. I am, I am, I am. I am as God created me. I am a light in this world. I am as God created me. I am, I am, I am. I am Spirit. I am holy. I am sacred. I am love. You are Spirit. You are holy. You are sacred. You always Spirit, always holy, always sacred, always as God created me. I am alive in this world. I am as God created me. I am, I am, I am. I am as God created me. I am a light in this world. I am as God created me. I am, I am, I am.
That is the truth if I ever heard it. Thank you, everyone. I got to go to a wedding on Friday night. I think it's my first Friday wedding ever for one of my nephews. And I got to see this relationship kind of from the beginning. He actually met her because she was on the basketball team of his sister's team, and he would go to all the games. So he met her that way, and he started talking about her on Facebook a little bit more, a little bit more. Suddenly they're dating. You know how you can change your status, like in a relationship? That was a big deal. That went on for a while, and then next thing you know, we're engaged. That was fun. And Friday night at midnight, well, maybe Saturday morning sometime, they put, "We're married," on their page. It was really fun to just see his enthusiasm for his relationship. And at this point in their life, they are some busy kids. I call them kids because I think they're both in their 20 or 21, somewhere around there. So they're both still going to school. One is headed off to get a master's and physical therapy, I think, and the other is in nursing school. So they not only have to go to school, but they have to pay for school, which means they have to work, and they're starting their own house together, and they've got lots of things to do there, so study and work and just a lot going on in their lives. And it's an opportunity to really put your love to the test, huh? You know, when you've got that much pressure on you. But to see them, you just know that they have this feeling of, we can do anything because we're in a partnership. And that feeling of omnipotence is something that comes kind of rarely, except when you're first born. I think I might have talked about this a little earlier, made me think of that again, that, as an infant, you don't know there's anything different but you, that you think you're all that is. And the world just kind of revolves around you. So you get hungry, suddenly there's food. You need to go to sleep, suddenly you're in bed. And your mother's body's your body, and it all works together for good. So at some point, roughly around 2 years old, you start to awaken to the fact that perhaps you're separate from someone else because you're crying and you're not always getting your needs met immediately. And that little bit of an ego starts to express, starts to grow in us. And then we get to the point where we're probably in our adolescence, and we think, you know what? I am an individual. I am separate from other beings. The only time that I really do feel like I've got any power is if I'm part of a group, that hopefully is like me and supports me, and that sometimes can be a hard thing to find. And even when you are in a group, there's still always that sense, especially at that age where you are frail and not as powerful as you would like to be. And then you get that moment where you meet someone and you just feel like, finally, I'm omnipotent again, because between the two of us, we can do anything. We're superheroes. Bring it on. And that lasts for a while. And then we come to that point where we're familiar with each other. We've lived through some tough stuff together. We start to see that those cute little habits they had are really just irritating little habits, or the flaws start to show up. And, that's our opportunity at that point to take that omnipotence, that feeling of oneness that we've been pouring ourselves into the other being and creating that energy, to start initiating the true work of loving, so that it can continue on instead of, taking the easy way out. And I kind of wanted to continue on our series this week. We've been looking at our heart, our good heart, our patient heart, our kind heart, and really delve into the loving heart that we all have within us and can't necessarily connect with in every moment that we wish we could. But it's more than just a feeling. When we look at our lives and how many people we actually love during our lifetime, I would say, I could be wrong about this. I will just own that. But it feels like, for the most part, most people love a select group. It's the family that you're born into. You didn't have to work at that. They're just kind of part of you. And it's a given that you love them. You may not like them, but you love them. And as you grow up, you start to make a few friends who really connect with your heart. You feel like you're one, and you didn't have to work at that. You just bumped into them, you figured it out. You think very much the same, and they become a source of love for you. And then if you do, move into an intimate relationship in your life, that attraction just drew you together, that you're maintaining. And you could actually go through life and just have that very small unit of people in your life that you love. But the love that I want us to look at today is so much more than that which we give to our unit and that which we feel within ourselves. It is something that when you come to understand what it really is, it can change your life. It can change your world. It can change the world if enough of us really tap into what that energy of love is about. It's something that is not the feeling, but it is a power. It is actually nothing less than God itself. So when we talk about love today, I would like for us to work in our heads to translate that. Not so much that warm feeling that you have within your own heart, but that is the power that created this universe. That is pretty awesome. It is the infinite expression of God. It's something that Eben Alexander discovered when he had a near-death experience. Now, this is a man who was trained in science. He was a neurosurgeon, and he didn't have any really big thoughts about spirituality in his life until he had an illness kind of sap his life and sap his brain, and he left his body, and he spent, in his mind or lack of mind, felt like he was there quite a while. And when he was able to come back into his body and his brain was restored, he reported this from his book. He said, "Love is the basis of everything. The glorious truth of truths that lives and breathes at the core of everything that exists or ever will exist." That's pretty powerful. It's the core of everything. Now, keep in mind, he came out of a science background and he'd been taught that the only everything that is energy, right? That's what science would say. Everything is energy. And we use energy in many different forms. As a matter of fact, up here on the screen, let me show you a little graphic here about how energy can be expressed in different ways in our life. Some of you might be familiar with gravity when you fell. And you felt the pain of that. Some of you might know what standing near a fire is and feeling its heat. Hopefully none of you, well, I don't want to say hopefully none of you, because we actually had somebody in here last week, I think, that works in nuclear science. So she might understand the nuclear energy and how it works. Most of us probably don't deal with that on a daily basis. But what I want us to consider here is that this is still a single field of energy that is just being used in a variety of ways and for different purposes. All the while, what's behind it is, this next slide, love. That is the power, the energy that sits behind that expression in so many different ways. And it's so important that we understand that we can know we are empowered by love. Just as, when the scriptures say that in God I live and move and have my being, we could say in love I live and move and have my being. That is why I exist. That is why there's an animated force working in me for good, because it is of love. And that's the important thing about this, is to recognize that this power is not just an energy, but it's actually a conscious energy. It's conscious, looking through the eyes, sending out the vibration or the frequency. Dare I say that about love? Yes. If love is a power, it's vibrating, its range, its frequency is higher than most of our low, slow, emotional feelings. But that energy that's vibrating as love is the power that created this universe and is available within each one of us to do extraordinary things. Its desire, its nature is good. That's what it's busy doing. Get out of its way, and it will cause our lives to work together in harmony. We will, if we choose to express it, find our lives completely transformed from the lower, slower energies as it sees only good and it decides to work for good. Charles Fillmore, who's one of the co-founders of Unity, describes it in many ways, but one of my favorites is this up here on the screen. Love is an inner quality that sees good everywhere and in everybody. It insists that all is good. And by refusing to see anything but good, it causes that quality finally to appear uppermost in itself and in all things. Divine love will bring your own to you. It will adjust all misunderstandings and make your life and affairs happy, harmonious, and free. That's pretty powerful. That's a lot of work. I mean, when you think about that this single power that created this universe can do all of that, that should excite you to get up in the morning and know that it's not just something that makes you feel good about someone else, but it's actually a power that we can send out that becomes a magnet for our good. So it brings back to us our prosperity, our guidance that we seek, our peace that we're looking for. When we send out love, it goes and retrieves that which is for our good. And it can also transform that which is unlike love, that which is unlike God. It can transform those conflicts into harmony and that sickness into health and that weakness into strength. Because its nature is to get busy in every cell of our body and restore us back to the divine idea that God had for this body in the first place and for all parts of our life. And we have the ability to experience it within ourselves and then also to send it out. Now, John Randolph Price has a really interesting point of view about this power of love. He talks about this atomic field, and first of all, that we are all part of that field, and we all have atoms in our bodies. And so it feels like a single field in some respects, but technically, you and I are individualized atomic fields, so to speak, because you and I have our own unique expression of God. Our soul makes us individualized. And so each one of us are expressing as an individualized atomic field. And here's how he describes it up here on the screen. He said, within each individual's atomic field is the permanent atom of universal love. Now, let me just stop right there, because, wow, that's an idea. Permanent meaning that even though we come and go in the body, and the body may dissolve, our soul, our spirit, our eternalness carries that permanent atom of universal love within us. And no matter where we go when we're done with this body, whether you believe that you come back into a new body, whatever, it's always present within us. He goes on to say that that's the one that will trigger a self-sustaining chain reaction to produce a total transformation of the individual. It's like a fission. And ultimately, the entire collective consciousness. Now that, again, is pretty powerful. He says, a self-sustaining chain reaction to produce a total transformation of the individual. That's what that spark, that individuality of love within us has the power to do. So why doesn't it just do it? Why don't we see love everywhere? If the universe is made of only love, why aren't we seeing it? Because it requires a consciousness that calls it forth. It requires that you and I become aware of it and then set it free consciously. So this is, I think, when Jesus taught his disciples the Lord's Prayer, the traditional version that most of us know, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So let's just see if we understand that God is love. Same thing, love, God. Let's just change a couple of those words. Our Father, who art in heaven, love be thy name. Love be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy love be done on earth as it is in heaven. And when we get in the habit of praying that, that's when we start calling forth that permanent atom of universal love from its waiting stage to its expressing stage. Pray to release the divine power of love within you. We have the power to release this in such a way. It may feel almost overwhelming when you think that it's the same power that created the universe, but just start with the basics. Just get out of its way, which means shift your consciousness from resisting what's going on in your life to simply allowing. Oftentimes we cover up that spark within us with thoughts of selfishness or fear or judgment, and that in itself is a lower, slower energy than the frequency of love. And so we haven't quite risen up to the level where it can express in us. But again, those levels of consciousness are a choice. So this is where we can let go and let love by simply allowing. I love how John Payne talks about it up here on the screen. Love is the total and complete acceptance of what is. Love allows. Allowing yourself to be who you are, what you are, and allowing the same right to all others. So not only is there a power of love that transforms, that heals, that renews, but there's also a point of view that we can choose to set it free in us. Now, I know that when you love someone and they seem to be on a path that could be harmful for themselves, that because we love them, we want to fix them. We want to control their behavior. We want to at least judge and tell them that they shouldn't be doing something, or we want to lay awake at night and be afraid for them. And that none of those actions or choices are love expressing. Hard to believe, right? We're looking out for their good, but the methods that we're using, the point of view that we're using is at a lower energy than what love really is. And if we want good for them, then what we have to do is rise up into a higher level of consciousness for them. I had a friend years ago who had noticed, she and her husband had both noticed that their bank account started having money taken out of it that neither one of them were taking out. And so they went to the bank and they looked at, the times that the money was being withdrawn, which was happening through an ATM. So they watched video, and interestingly enough, the camera was ajar. And so it didn't really focus on the person, maybe just the top of the head or a cap or something, and couldn't see the car really. So they couldn't really tell, but they had this sinking feeling that it could be their teenage son. And they'd had problems with him lying to them about things. But they didn't want to accuse him if they didn't have proof. So they decided, they had a friend in law enforcement, and they asked if he would come over to the house posing as a bank officer or someone in, bank security, and have a conversation with the parents and the son about what the repercussions of something like this might be when they discover who it is, and try to encourage him that if he had anything to do with it, now might be the time to say something. And so they scheduled a time for him to come over, and they were all supposed to meet one evening. And that morning she got up and she just did not feel good about that. She just felt like it was deceptive, and she didn't want to play that game with him. And so she called me that morning, and we were talking about it, what to do. And the thing that just came up for me was love. I didn't know where love was going to go with it. I just said, do you love your son? Yes. I said, so how about between now and the time that you meet with him tonight, that you just send him love? That a love that accepts him as he is, a love that allows him to be who he is, a love that sees only good in him, a love that wants only good for him. And then let's just turn it over to that energy of love and see what happens. And so she decided she would do that. She canceled the law enforcement person to come to the house, and instead she sat with him and her husband that night. And they talked about what had happened, and they said, do you know anything about this? And he said, no. And then he said, yes. And he went to his room, and he came out with his checkbook for his account, and he wrote him a check for $800. And I really believe that because she had given that time to love without any need to control what happened or to fix him, that he felt that power of love. And as Charles Fillmore said, love, by refusing to see anything but good, causes that quality finally to appear uppermost in itself and in all things. It's blatant, right there, we could see it. That he was able to feel safe enough to admit what he had done and know that he would still be loved. It is a power that we don't need to understand as to how it does what it does. We just have to trust it. Not to get so involved in the details of people's lives, or our own for that matter, but simply just keep sending love to the situation, to ourselves. I want to share a story from David MacArthur's book, The Intelligent Heart, which is all about the power of love. I highly recommend it. Real short, he said, a college professor had his sociology class go into the Baltimore slums to get case histories of 200 young boys. The students were asked to write an evaluation of each of the boys' future. In every case, the students wrote, he hasn't got a chance. 25 years later, another sociology professor came across the earlier study. He had his students follow up on the project to see what had happened to these boys. With the exception of 20 boys who'd moved away or died, the students learned that 176 of the remaining 180 had achieved more than ordinary success as lawyers, doctors, and business people. The professor was astounded and decided to pursue the matter further. Fortunately, all the men were in the area, and he was able to ask each one, how do you account for your success? In each case, the reply came with feeling. There was this teacher. The teacher was still alive, so he sought her out and asked the old but still alert lady what magic formula she had used to pull these boys out of the slums into successful achievement. The teacher's eyes sparkled, and her lips broke into a gentle smile. "It's really very simple," she said. "I loved those boys." We just don't trust that power enough. It's a power that created the universe, that sustains the universe, that harmonizes the universe, and yet we don't trust it. We decide that it's got to be our thinking, our fixing, our controlling, our judging that's going to make things better for ourselves or for others. But this requires us beginning to become aware of this power and that we may put it to good use. Simply just as you become aware of its essence, and something that you might do regularly is meditate on the qualities of love. Just really start to fill your being up with what this means, what the word love means. Give me some qualities of love that you might equate it with. What is love like? What does love do? How would you define love? Compassion, nurturing, acceptance, patience, kindness, understanding, forbearance, forgiving, warmth. Yes. Healing, transforming, uplifting, renewing. We all know what it feels like. We've all had that moment of love in our life. Just give some time to meditating on those qualities. I mean, I don't know about you, but just hearing those words and me repeating them back, I was feeling them. You can feel it in your being. And as you do that you can feel that energy, then just imagine you're sending it out to your circle, your unit around you, your friends and your family, those that you're regularly in contact with, you want the good for them. And then, don't stop there. You send it out even further in your heart and mind. You see it moving out as this energy. Remember that one permanent atom of universal love? Just imagine that you opened that gate for it to begin to spread, and now it's spreading out to those who've hurt you in the past, that you have felt resentful towards, that you need to forgive, and suddenly you're feeling that energy connecting you with them. You turned on the news this week and heard that someone had taken several lives. You send that love out to those families and to those souls that are starting a new path in life. And you also send that power to the person who pulled the trigger. This is how we heal and transform our world. This is how we raise it into a consciousness of love, is to love even the most difficult by accepting them for who they are and trusting love to do the healing work, trusting love to raise them in consciousness. You know what it's like when somebody is judging you and telling you that you're doing it wrong. The first thing you want to do is resist that, right? But if they can feel forgiven for what they have done, and God only knows what their life has been like up to this point that caused them to do such a thing, that's the thing they need most, is that universal power, that field of love concentrated and directed toward them. I know you're going to send me an email and tell me that I shouldn't be saying this, but I am offering that if you really want healing in our country and in our world, love is what will do it. I see it softening hearts and raising consciousness and healing hurts and healing bodies. I see love as that power that's not only pointing us in the right direction, but also prospering us, allowing us to succeed, because we are in that power that is simply working and organizing and knowing what is for the highest and best in our lives. Take a breath. What we focus on, we become. Wouldn't it be good to focus on love so that we could become love, so that we could engage, activate, release that permanent atom of universal love? Think of it, they talk about that singularity, that that the universe came out of, that little point of energy that became all that we can see. Think of that same singularity just waiting, patiently waiting in our hearts for us to open its door and free it and direct it and send it out to where it's needed. That is something that we're all called to do. And every time that we return back to that heart space and offer love and forgiveness and kindness and compassion, you are being God. You are being love. I want to take us through a meditation this morning, and I'll ask Kim Char to come on up. You want to bring a chair? You're free to do that. We're going to be here a while. She's going to help me with the meditation, and what I'd like to do, this is a little bit longer than normal, so just open your mind to that. You got 10 minutes to find the power of love within you and send it out. You think you can spare that? Let's do it together. I'll just invite you to close your eyes and get comfy in your chair. We'll just play with this permanent atom of universal love. Let's take a deep breath. We release anything that's in the way of divine love as we feel our shoulders relaxing and let go. Be still in mind and emotions. Bring the focus of your attention to your heart center. And visualize that this is where that permanent atom of universal love is located. In your mind's eye, imagine it as a shining crystal of love. A glistening jewel of love that takes on any color that comes to you. Just contemplate it.
May we all return. May we all return to the place of the heart. May we all return. May we all return. May we all return to the place of the heart. May we all return.
As we breathe in, we know that all of the love in the universe is concentrated right there within you. Now, in your imagination, see that love slowly open to release its light. See the radiant rays begin to flow. It's moving and filling your entire energy field. Your mind, your feelings, your body. See yourself as a radiating center of divine love.
May we all return. May we all return. May we all return. May we all return to the place of the heart. May we all return.
Now see this love essence radiating out and filling the room where you are. See it continuing to move out across the land to encircle the whole planet. And say to yourself, I am universal love in radiant expression. I see the cosmic rays of love going before me to envelop and permeate everyone in my consciousness. Those who have rejected me, who have hurt me, who have not recognized my true worth, I send my love to you with no conditions attached. I love you for who you are and what you are. I love everyone without exception. I am the mighty power of God's love in radiant expression. And I let my love go before me to heal and harmonize every condition in my life.
May we all return. May we all return to the place of the heart. May we all return. May we all return. May we all return to the place of the heart. May we all return.
I know that as I begin to love more and more, every limitation in my life will vanish. My personal world will become whole and harmonious. My light of love is joining with others who have opened a crystal of love. I sense it now in this room and those who are watching online, that we are all joining together, saturating the world with love. The healing has begun. It is happening right now. doing my part to dissolve the limitations of humankind. My love is restoring this world to spiritual awakening. I love as I have never loved before. I will let it forever flow unconditionally, universally. My love is flowing divinely, powerfully, intensely. I can love because I know who and what I am. I have returned to love.
May we all return. May we all return to the place of the heart. May we all return. May we all return. May we all return to the place of the heart. May we all return.
Let's sing that with Kim Char.
May we all return.
May we all return
To the place of the heart, may we all return. May we all return. May we all return to the place of the heart. May we all return.
You and I are universal love. We return to that knowing. We allow it to be, and so it is. Amen.
Wow, that was powerful. Wow. So I watched online on and off for quite some time, and I always enjoyed hearing the music and the message. And there's just no substitute for being in the sound energy in the same room. And at the same time, being able to connect with the energy of those in our room when we're all vulnerable and open to spirit. And that was really powerful and beautiful. Thank you, Kim Char. Thank you. Thank you, Reverend Kitty. I'm a little knocked off, as you can tell. It really, really was amazing. And now is the time where we kind of shift our consciousness we still stay in that power of love as we consider our love offerings for the type of messaging you hear here at Unity in Naperville. We depend on your offerings to keep this message going and to serve others. There's several different ways you can give. There's a donate button on our website, on the Facebook page, YouTube page, or you can mail it in at Unity in Naperville, P.O. Box 9733 in Naperville, Illinois, 60567. Let's continue that energy and bless the offering with the words that are on the screen. Let's say this together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. As the ushers come around with the baskets, have a little more of that sound energy.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Thank you. Allow me to share some announcements with you for the upcoming weeks. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. We're glad you were able to join us online and in person. Thank you. There's a lot of different ways you can spend your Sunday morning, and I congratulate you on being a seeker of truth, seeker of light, for improvement in your life. If what you heard here resonates with you, I invite you to sign in to our newsletter. We have these email blasts once a week where you're going to hear more details than what I'm about to give you about what's happening here at Unity in Naperville. You can sign up for the weekly e-news at unityinnaperville.org. There's a spot to sign up there, or you can email admin@unityinnaperville.org and ask to be added to that list. And every Tuesday morning, you will get an announcement. What's happening this week? Well, something was launched last week, which was really interesting and exciting, and it goes beyond Unity in Naperville. It goes into all Unity and the 12 powers that Unity believes. It's called the 12 Powers Club. I believe it was started up, kind of emerged from Kimchar Meredith and Parker Meredith and several others who are looking at a way to use the 12 powers to touch people. You can sign up for this club. There's a subscription fee of $75. But if you sign up soon, you get $15 off. And when you sign up, what you get is you get monthly podcasts, original songs, meditations, affirmative prayers, special programming, children's materials, and much, much more that all provide a deeper understanding about how amazing the 12 powers are. As you can see, there's so many different categories. I see Kim Char's just itching to say something about it, so go right ahead, girl.
There's just going to be so much programming that we all get to participate and engage with. But I just saw a registration from Little Rock, Arkansas, everyone from Dayton, Ohio, and another one from Bloomington, Indiana. So the opportunity for us to join and build this community of like-minded seekers and have those relationships is there as well. So I'm very excited.
Thank you. And on top of that, your subscription fee, half of that is going to support Unity in Naperville here. So it's good works all around, good stuff all around. Check it out at 12powersclub.com. 12 is 1, 2. And just a little tip, I tried to look it up and I put the www in front of it. And for some reason that doesn't work. So just go 12powers.com in the internet and the website will pull right up for you. And you can sign up there and get more information on all the goodies you'll receive when you're part of that club. If you were born in June, please send us a photo if you can, or at the very least with your name and your birth date by the end of tomorrow, so that next week, the first Sunday of the month, we get to celebrate you and sing happy birthday to you. You can email your photo and your information to admin@unityinnaperville.org. If for some reason you don't have a photo, you don't want to do a photo, at least give us your name and your birth date. You can leave the year off. We're fine with that.
You know, I love the baby photos, though.
We do love the baby photos.
I want to see either you riding a llama or your baby photo.
Or it's always fun to see someone with like an 80s hairdo. That might be kind of fun too.
Oh, I've got that shot.
Every Tuesday and Thursday at noon, enjoy company with friends with lunch together online. You can join that with a lot of our other programming at something called unitycommunityconnect.com. It is a special website set up with lots of different channels so that when we have these events, you can go into the channel and then get into the Zoom that way. So here the channel's called Lunch Together Online. It's Tuesday and Thursday from noon to 1. You can go for just part of the time or the whole hour and just kind of connect with some other people and join via Zoom. Next, we have Courageous Writers that meets this Saturday at 10 a.m. Join that class by going to Unity Community Connect and selecting the Courageous Writers channel, and then click on the Zoom link in there. That's a way that you can find some expression and do some writing, and it's really cool to hear what comes up for everybody in this, because we all kind of write on a prompt word or phrase, and we have humor, we have anecdotes, we have biographies, we have fiction, we have all kinds of stuff that bubbles up in people. So it's a real fun way to get in touch with your creative spirit. Also, we have one-on-one prayer support available today after the service. Please email your name and phone number to prayer@unityinnaperville.org, and a prayer chaplain will call you back by 1 p.m. with some confidential prayer and support. Also save the date, upcoming in June, on June 18th from 6:30 to 8, we have Shinrin Yoku, which is Japanese forest bathing. That's going to be a live event. I looked at it online. It looks really interesting. It's like meditative walking through the forest. Go to the website, our website, and look at our events calendar or our e-news blast if you are getting those, and you'll get more information on that. And also on Saturday, June 26th from 9:30 to 12:30, there's going to be an introduction to Soul Collage, which is exploring the seasons of life. We're going to go back to Japanese forest. We have a message. Oh, good point. 10 seats. There's only 10 seats because this is going to be a very intense experience. Or I shouldn't say intense. I don't know. Intimate experience. So they're limiting it to 10 people, and we've already have some people signed up. So there's limited spaces. So sign up now if you'd like, if that's something that interests you. See our events calendar at unityinnaperville.org for more details. And I think that's all I got. Other than just another happy Memorial Day to everyone. Have a lovely weekend. And we are going to have a closing song now, right?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Hit it, guys.
So I invite you to stand as you are able.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm choosing heaven today.
I'm choosing heaven
today. I am walking the road right now, singing I'm choosing
heaven today.
I'm choosing love today. I'm choosing love today. I am walking the road right now, singing I'm choosing love today. I'm choosing peace.
Thanks for bringing your love energy into this room. To all of you who joined us online today, many blessings. And I know that many will plug in later this week or 3 months from now. Just know that you're deeply loved, that you're always welcome here in person if it works for you, and we're grateful to have you be part of us. Here's our closing affirmation for today, just another thing to take into our hearts and carry around with us all week long. Let's say it together. I live and move and have my being as love. And so it is. I'm going to say hey as people are going out today. And then if you want to hang out for another 10 minutes or so online, I will join you in the Zoom room later. So you can get to that with unitycommunityconnect.com. And then click on the live stream chat channel. You know what? Will I be able to do this today? I don't think I will. I will. I won't. I will. I had to give up my computer today. I'm sorry about that. So this is one of those occasions where those who are in the room will get a little bit more love and attention. But next week, I will definitely be there for you, okay? Thanks, everybody. Have a beautiful day together. Enjoy the sunshine. Let's talk more out in the front room. See you next time. Thank you.